Welcome back. My name is Patrick Nolan. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Missouri. This is Pat Talks Law. Now, I'm going to ask early on, I hate to do this, but go ahead and hit like, subscribe if you like what we're talking about. We could use it. Excuse me. So today we are going to be discussing yesterday's news that two of the medical marijuana facilities that had been appealing their license denial won their appeal case before the Administrative Hearings Commission and have been granted their licensing. So as of right now, excuse me, Hayya Kirksville and Hayya Excello cultivation licenses have been ordered by the Commissioner, Dan DeMuni. Now, this was reported by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. There have been long litigation. There are tons of lawsuits. There's like more than 800. Right now, this is signaling that there a fair number of these appellants, if not the majority, are likely going to be granted their licenses based on this decision. One of the arguments that Department of Health and Human Services was making was that Health and Senior Services, Human Services, DHSS, Health and Senior Services. One of the arguments that they made was that they had hired a private contractor to do the scoring of applications. And as you recall, that's been one of the staunch criticisms because that private scoring contractor's connections to people who ultimately won licenses. So that process was fraught with conflicts of interest and other irregularities. There are some real questions there. There's been some really good work and people ferreting that out and making that information public. And most of it we've already talked about. But Dan DeMuni wrote in his ruling that the health department's bizarre claim that it can't rescore Hayya's application because it delegated away its constitutional and regulatory responsibility to a private contractor without checks and balances is, well, bizarre. So they lost. And you might remember a few months ago that the Department of Health and DHSS lost the argument over privacy and in discovery. They didn't want to turn over discovery, citing privacy for other people, other applicants. And of course, they failed in that. And that was Dan DeMuni, that was the judge in that case as well. So, and I should say commissioner, not judge, but same damn thing. So right now, two of the cases have been won. This signals a very real possibility that the others shall be. And you got to know attorneys that are on those cases are right now writing up their summary judgment motions. And they may or may not be successful in that. That's a different story. But if they've started winning, it's fair to say there's likely going to be more victories. The question that I have now is, what is this going to do to the actual regulatory scheme? Okay, we have a certain number of licenses that were approved. Now, we know there's going to be 192 dispensary licenses. However, if these other 800 plus applicants win their cases and get licenses, that's going to more than double the licenses that are available in the state of Missouri. We've already added 2 more cultivation facilities with the licenses that were awarded yesterday. So out of 60, we now have 62. So that's what, so 60, 10% of 66. That's a 3% increase just yesterday on cultivation. Granted, we need them. We need the more licenses. But we're going to have there's going to be a question as far as how that plays in, since there's been no determination of need for increased licensing. Are these licensees then going to be denied renewal of their license because of lack of need? I don't know, but that might be the next round of litigation after all this is approved. And there is a potential that we're going to see some direct steps to reduce the number of licensees or to reduce the number of people cultivating at home so that the cultivators and dispensaries can make money. You don't want to be the one out crying the sky is falling, but they're going to have to reduce the number of licensees if all these 800 get approved. They're going to have to reduce the number of sources for available medical marijuana, or they're going to have to expect and be ready for a shift to legalization in 2 years when we pass a full decriminalization bill. So that's where we're at. It's good news, but it is by no means a complete story. We'll see how it comes out. But right now we're going to have 2 more facilities, one of them in Kirksville, where I happen to be based out of. No, I didn't have anything to do with the case, but I'm glad to see that they're going to be here. It looks like we've got 2 dispensaries that are gearing up and almost ready to go here in our community, which is also a plus. Now, I did see that there is a massive problem right now. Springfield News Leader ran a story that we have the facilities, a large number of them have sought and are getting extensions on their 1-year time to open. Let's face it, we've blown the 1 year, folks. They didn't get it done. You blame COVID, blame whatever you want. The bottom line here is, even without COVID, very few of them were going to meet that 1 year deadline. It just wasn't going to be possible logistically. You had too many people trying to hire contractors at the same time. It would have been very, very difficult. But DHSS is going to extend the deadlines for actually opening and putting that license in operation. So, we might see another year before we have a full rollout of our program. However, we're on track to have a rollout, and despite the bumps, it is coming along. So anyway, that's the news. We're starting to see the facility license appellants winning their cases. That's a good thing. The DHSS has stated through Lisa Cox they don't know whether they're going to appeal or not. And they attempted to argue it was a very narrow ruling. I don't have a copy of the ruling yet, but I know people who have seen it and they don't think it's that narrow of a ruling. So that'll be determined by the future cases and how they've come down. Please hit like, subscribe. Thank you. And we'll be talking to you again real soon.